Alrighty, so the video you just watched was this robotic arm right here that I have in my hands here in action. You saw it working, and when you saw it in the video, what it had was the linear gear system claw that I designed, and that was holding things in place. But this is another attachment, so there's two attachments as of right now. This attachment can hold my phone, which is pretty cool. So yeah, for this right now, I'm gonna have this attachment on. I don't have my phone handy though, so I can't show that off. But yeah, so yeah, you saw it in action. Let's just get into how this works, what parts it uses, and everything I learned from this. So if we move over to Fusion 360, this is the CAD design for it. I designed this roughly like a year and a half ago. So I think this was my first Fusion 360 project. So there's a bit of a learning curve. It's obviously not beautifully 3D modeled. Um, this was one of my first projects, but I definitely did learn a lot, quite a lot, especially about working with multiple servos. So this uses a servo driver board, of course. Cannot initially my going into this, I remember I tried to power each servo individually through a breadboard, drawing like a 1 amp power supply with 6 volts, um, and then trying to power each and every servo from that one power supply, and realized that that was not working. And then I got in the driver board, and that worked really well. There's also a Arduino Nano in here. That's where the program is. That's the microcontroller I use for this. And as of right now, or in the video, I guess you saw that the joysticks were attached to the body itself. It's because yeah, this was one of my first projects. I didn't really understand how to wirelessly program anything. So right now I'm incorporating some NRF modules. You can see here, there's a bit of a controller being built. Yeah, so that's in the process of being built, and yeah, it uses an NRF module, so everything will be wirelessly controlled. And then I'm also in the works of programming some inverse kinematics for this, so it can work autonomously. So that'll be a great addition, and I think yeah, I can turn this kind of old project into something kind of neat. And yeah, so once I do add the inverse kinematics and the wireless control, I'll definitely update the website and the GitHub in case anyone does want to kind of follow along and use it. And there's also the CAD files there, which is good. Yeah, so that is this project. Some things I learned, definitely learned a lot more about how current works. That was not a factor at all when I went into this. When I saw the servos, I thought they were rated for 6 volts. So I was like, cool, I'll find any 6 volt power supply, disregarding the amperage, disregarding the current. So initially I used like a 1 amp power supply. Each of these are operated for a half an amp. So realistically, you can only power up to 2 servos using that power supply. So then things weren't working, and I was really confused. Ended up figuring out why. Ended up realizing that I did have to have a power supply that perfectly divides, so that each of these servos gets the current rating that they were designed for. And yeah, there's some other things about the size of these arm shafts. Um, I don't know if you can tell in this 3D model, the arm shafts are actually larger than they are in real life, because I had to saw off a bit of the arm because it just the servos cannot produce enough torque to hold up the length of the arm, with also having like something attached to the end, and so reducing that size made everything work beautifully. And yeah, that's the project. Designed it to help me solder. Well, now I don't know if you can see. I have these helping hands now, so that's what I use to solder these days. But yeah, initially I didn't know about those. I didn't know they existed. So I actually built this arm to help me solder, and it actually worked quite well. I used it for several months until getting this helping hands. And so yeah, it had a bit of a purpose. It lived well, and it's actually named Barbara. My friend Kenneth named, I guess, her named her Barbara. Um, I'm not crazy. I didn't name it. I'm not the crazy one. But yeah, so that's Barbara. Quick description, and thank you for watching. All of the GitHub CAD files, and my email is on the website in case you have any other questions and need any other resources. In case anyone wants to have a Barbara of their own. And I will definitely keep it updated as I incorporate some inverse kinematics, autonomous controls, and some wireless controls. So yeah, I'll definitely add that all in as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah.